Hello everyone, this is Jezreel Ilian. In this video, we will talk about punctuation marks. So if you are confused how to use period, comma, question mark, exclamation point, and many more punctuation marks, so this video is perfect for you. So let's begin. So what is punctuation marks? So punctuation marks are symbols that aid the clarity and comprehension of a written language. So punctuation marks gives emphasis in a written language. There are 14 different punctuation marks, and I will discuss the 7 punctuation marks first. Among those 14 different punctuation marks, there are 3 punctuation marks that belongs to the terminal punctuation marks. So, those punctuation marks are period, question mark, and exclamation point. So when we say terminal punctuation marks, these are the marks that are used to end sentences. The first terminal punctuation mark is period. So period denotes the end of a sentence, and it is used to mark the end of 2 types of sentences. So the 2 types of sentences are declarative and imperative sentences. So when we say declarative, these are the sentences that give information or details, while imperative are the sentences that commands or request. In declarative sentence, please take a look at this example sentence. I teach English. So this sentence is an example of declarative sentence. So this sentence is just giving an information or details. So I just stated that I teach English. So that is declarative sentences. In imperative sentence, please take a look at this example sentence. Please don't tell her my secret. So imperative sentences are the sentences that commands or request. Okay, so let's proceed to the second terminal punctuation mark, which is the question mark. So question mark is used to mark the end of a question. So please take a look at these example questions. The first one is, how are you today? The second one is, what makes you happy? And third one, are you learning? What have you noticed while I am reading these questions? So, there is a change in my tone. So, there is a rise and fall of my tone. So, that is called intonation. So, intonation is the right rise and fall of a speaker's voice. So, in the first example question, how are you today? How are you today? So, my intonation there is falling. That is called falling intonation. So, if a question is a falling intonation, the answer is direct. So, it gives direct answer. Just like this question. How are you today? So you can just answer it directly. For example, I am happy or I am fine, like that. While the last question here is, are you learning? Are you learning? So my intonation there is rising. So if the intonation is rising, the answer should be yes or no. And it follows with an explanation. The last terminal punctuation mark is the exclamation point. So exclamation point used to convey strong emotions. The expression can be a variety of things from excitement, disgust, anger, joy, or anything else. So, please take a look at this example sentence. I'm really excited to see him. So, when we put period at the end of this sentence, we can read that as, I'm really excited to see him, like that. So, there is no strong emotion while I was reading this example sentence. But when we put exclamation point or exclamation mark at the end of this sentence, the way I read this sentence is different. So, when I put exclamation point at the end of this sentence, I will read this as, I'm really excited to see him. Like that. So, there is a strong emotion while I was reading this sentence. So, it's really important to put an exclamation point if you are conveying a strong emotion in your writing. So we're done with terminal punctuation marks. And now, let's proceed to the pauses. So we also have 3 different punctuation marks that belongs to pauses. So when we say pauses, these are the marks that tells the reader to stop briefly and then continue reading. So we have 3 pauses punctuation marks. These are comma, colon, and semicolon. Okay, so let's begin with the first pauses punctuation mark, which is the comma. So commas are used to insert a pause into a sentence. So there are 4 ways to use comma, but I will just explain the 2 ways. So the first one is to separate items in a list. So we are using a comma when we are separating items in a list. So for example, please take a look at this example sentence. I saw a tiger, eagle, and ostrich at the zoo. So you can see in this example sentence that we used or we put a comma. So after the word tiger, eagle, and ostrich. So that is the first way to separate items in a list. And the second way is to separate words that are not part of the sentence. So please take a look at this example sentence. Emily, please close the door. So this sentence is an example of a direct address. So when we say direct address, that is calling someone's attention. So after the word, after the name Emily, there is a comma. So Emily here is the direct address because the person is calling the attention of Emily to close the door. So that is the second way of using a comma. So let's proceed to the second process punctuation mark, which is the colon. Colon introduces information after an independent clause. A colon has three primary uses. One way to use it is when introducing something such as a quote, an example, a series, or an explanation. So please take a look at this example sentence. Our cake shop specializes in these goodies: cheesecake, chocolate cake, and customized cake. So this example sentence here is giving an information about a list of goodies in their cake shop. So we put a colon after the word goodies because it introduces the goodies such as cheesecake, chocolate cake, and customized cake. So that's how we use the colon. So we are now at the last process punctuation mark, which is the semicolon. So semicolon is used to combine closely related sentences. So please take a look at this example sentence. I assumed it was fun. He assumed it was boring. So, for example, they are referring to a movie. So they watched a movie and then they said what they have felt while they were watching the movie. So for the first person assumed that the movie was fun. But the second person assumed that the movie was boring. So these clauses are related to each other. So that's why we put a semicolon. So we're done with process punctuation marks. And now let's proceed to the seventh punctuation mark, which is dash. So dash is used to separate two independent clauses. So we have two types or two kinds of dash, which is the and dash and m dash. And dash is used to replace the word to and through in ranges. So for example, 7 to 10 or 1 to 10. So we put an and dash instead of the word to. Okay, so let's proceed to the second kind of dash, which is the m dash. So m dash takes the place of commas, parentheses, or colons. So m dash meant to add information or emphasize something. So please take a look at this example sentence. I've been in this business for a long time. And then we put an m dash and then more than 10 years. More than 10 years. So the I've been in this business for a long time is already a complete thought. So it's an independent clause. But we put an m dash because we want to add more information about this independent clause. So we put an m dash and then we add the information more than 10 years. So it's really okay if we will not put the more than 10 years here. We just want to add information. That's why we need to put the m dash to introduce more information about your independent clause. Okay, so those are the first 7 punctuation marks.
Good day. So now I will be the one to continue about the punctuation marks, and I am expecting that Miss Elian already discussed the 7 punctuation marks. Now let's proceed. So the number 8 is the hyphen. So not to be confused with dash, a hyphen is used in compound words when 2 or more words are connected. So let's say, for example, step by step, mother and low, good looking, fast learner. So we can easily identify the hyphen because of the compound words, or words are being connected. So that is the hyphen. The next one, number 9, is the brackets. So the brackets are used to clarify something or for technical terms or explanation. It can also used to clarify a subject when quoting another person or text. So for example, we went and had a brilliant time. So by reading the text, we can't understand the text because there is something missing. So the use of brackets is to clarify the subject or to clarify the information so that we can understand it. So let's say we went, then use the bracket, to the park and had a brilliant time. So by using the brackets, it makes sense that the text is they will went to the park to have a brilliant time. So number 10 is braces. So it's unlikely you'll need to use braces very often unless you're writing a mathematical or technical text. Braces are usually used in the operation. So we can identify the braces because of the operation. Like for example, choose a color, red, white, pink, and blue to paint the wall. So by using the braces, we should choose the color inside the braces of what to paint the wall of, like that. So another example is we can use the braces in the mathematical operations, like the numbers, to use the operations like that. So the number 11 is the parentheses. So parentheses are used to clarify further details or information, or as an aside, parentheses can often be replaced with commas and sentence would retains its same meaning. So parentheses is, we can actually use it for the further details or information to clarify the text. For example, I went to the cinema to meet James. So the text used the comma, my eldest brother. So it means that the parenthesis is to supply further details or information. That's why the my eldest brother is represent which is James. So by using the parenthesis is to emphasize who is James, then who is James, and that is the eldest brother. So now let's proceed to the next one, the apostrophe. So apostrophe are meant to show the letter or letters have been omitted, and also to indicate the possessive or construction, it can also be used to pluralize lowercase letters. So when we say singular possessive is when one person owns something, placed apostrophe before the s. So for example, singular possessive, Sarah's cat is adorable. So it means that Sarah's cat is adorable because Sarah's is own the cat, then she is the one who owns something. So that is the singular possessive. Then the next one is the apostrophe in construction. The apostrophe in construction is when two words became one. Let's say, for example, you are, then you can use it by your. Then the next one is I am, then I'm. So to make it short, we can use apostrophe in construction to make one sense. So the next one is
Number 13.
Number 3 is the quotation mark. So the quotation mark are used to denote text, speech, or words spoken by someone else. It is also used to indicate the dialogue. So, for example, Alexa said, "I am very tired." So it means that the quotation mark is spoken by someone else. That's it. So we can use the quotation if there is someone if the speech is spoke by someone. So I forgot my homework, said Dave. So that is the use of quotation mark to spoke by someone else. So the last one is the ellipsis. Ellipses is the three periods used together to represent omissions of words or letter. They are often used to jump from one sentence or phrase to another while omitting unnecessary or obvious words. It's also used when quoting someone and unnecessary words are left out. Let's say, for example, I was thinking about yesterday. So that is the use of ellipsis, that omitting unnecessary words or phrases. Or let's say, for example, I am reporting about this. There are times that I forgot something, or I forgot the words, or unnecessary words are left out. So the last one is to be continued. So we can use the ellipsis because to be continued, the word there is something, words are left out. So that is the use of ellipsis. So the plural word of ellipsis is ellipsis. So that's it for our discussion, and I hope you learn something or have a good day. So thank you for listening the 14 punctuation mark. Thank you and God bless.